Mr. Boehm, that you're in your gold jacket today in honor of the 50th anniversary of Singing Angels. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means everything.
What do you want the lasting legacy of the Singing Angels to be?
I want the children to sing and be happy. I organized it because I didn't like the kind of music that was popular back then. And so that's why I wanted to make a change. But we had fun. That's the idea, to have fun in a very healthy kind of way. And also, very important to me, the Singing Angel being a family. And as a result, it was open to any child. Absolute rule, any child. And it's been a blessing. And I hope they carry on.
You had a vision 50 years ago. What was that vision and was it met?
Well, the vision was to improve the music that sing children, young people, would sing, and which would bring them joy, and which would bring them together, and which would help them be understanding so many things, patriotic things, human things, and it's the magic of music. It can happen through music, and we've done it, and I know the kids feel good, and I've been blessed.
Happy 50th.
Mr. Boehm, I know you said that you were the one who was blessed, but you have blessed all of us. You have made such a difference in all of our lives for decades and decades and decades, 5 decades of people that you have brought joy to our lives, that you have inspired us, that you have made us into the people that we are today. And on behalf of every Singing Angel that has passed through the Singing Angel organization and whose life you have touched, let me say thank you and we love you. Happy anniversary.
Don't turn the camera off. And I'm very proud and so happy as I look around and see the faces of angels of yesteryear and angels, singing angels of today. And I think that history will show that we have done something that's important for the youth of this country. 50 years. I think the next 50 years will be just as glorious, if not more so, than what we've just experienced. From the depths of my heart, I say, I love you. Singing angels, I love you, I love you, I love you. I can't say it enough. You're my life. You made me so happy. And you must now continue to make other people happy today and tomorrow.
If you will join me in standing, please, for the invocation as we invoke blessings upon this memorial service and our time together. Dear and most gracious Heavenly Father, it is in your precious name, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, that we come for this time, for this occasion. We are so very grateful that we have the opportunity to be here to memorialize the life of one of our greatest Americans and citizens of this community, William C. Boehm. Now we ask that this time might be blessed, our time together, every song, every statement, every comment, every presentation, everything that is presented here today. We pray that it shall be honored by you, approved by you. We thank you for it once again. We pray blessings upon this congregation, upon the singing angels, the staff, and all of those who put this time together. And we just pray that they shall be blessed in doing so. And we just pray that you would grant us your blessing, grant us your peace, and your divine favor. May it be upon us. And we ask these things in your precious name. Amen. Amen. Might be seated. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Jim Ballagher was going to be here today to read the life story that he wrote and put together of Bill Boehm. He, unfortunately, on the 4th of July, fell and cracked a few ribs. So he is, I just talked to him on the phone yesterday. He's home from the hospital. There's really not much you can do for that, except to just let it heal. But he sent me these words about Mr. Boehm's history, and of course I'm honored to read them.
William C. Boehm, Bill Boehm, Mr. Boehm, Bill. We all knew him by different salutations, but perhaps the most frequently used was Mr. Boehm. Mr. Boehm was born on July 26, 1920, almost 97 years ago now. He was born in Cleveland as one of 6 children, with 2 brothers and 3 sisters. His dad was an accountant with Sheets Elevator and spent every free hour he had supporting his passion for baseball. The backyard of his home was totally fenced in and was converted into a baseball field, backstop and all. He actually started sandlot baseball in Cleveland and constantly drove his sons to work hard and do it well, using the medium of baseball as his vehicle for teaching. But when Bill Boehm didn't field the ball very well, or didn't run as fast as he could, his dad would repeatedly call him a blockhead. Those are alumni laughing, because you've been called that. Certainly, that was a word of endearment. Mr. Boehm attended John Adams High School and Western Reserve University, where he graduated in 1938 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. All through high school and college, he was focused on a career in singing in the theater. World War II interrupted, causing him to put his career pursuit on hold in order to serve his country as an Army captain for the 29th Infantry Regiment in Europe. Very few people know that he returned to Case Western Reserve some 20 years later to earn a master's degree in dramatic arts. And it was during that time that he studied the context and nature of the Broadway show. This would ultimately give him the idea for the Singing Angels. After the war was over, when he returned to Northeast Ohio stages, he performed frequently at Kane Park and Herman Perchner's Alpine Village and Music Carnival in Warrensville Heights. All of these experiences also helped him coming up with his vision of the Singing Angels. Then in 1964, the moment arrived. He decided to start a youth choral group. The singing angels, as they were to be named, would represent young singers of all races, creeds, religions, and economic backgrounds in Northeast Ohio. Bill was intent on improving the music that young people would sing. That music would include, and I quote, "whatever would bring them joy, bring them together, and help them understand and appreciate all things, patriotic things." The joy of singing good music amongst children of all backgrounds. That year, Bill posted an audition call for a children's Christmas concert to be held at Severance Hall. Those charter members were not required to read music, but they had to carry a tune, and as his dad had always told him, they had to work hard and do it well. Some 80 young girls and boys absolutely delighted the audience that afternoon with their special brand of youthful charm and disciplined stage presence, and the rest is history. Over the last 50 years, the Singing Angels have become a highly successful nonprofit organization with the mission to engage youth from all communities in quality music and performing arts education that teaches teamwork, builds confidence, and provides a foundation for life. Truly an international choral legend.
Bill Boehm has left us all with an amazing legacy. Not only his music, but also his love and devotion to children. We will never forget his passion for making music, making friends, and making a difference. Thank you.
Being the bishop, I'm used to not following the program and interrupting where I can. I was asked to give comments, and I don't have Alzheimer's, but I do have sometimes. And so I just refused to go to my seat before I took the opportunity to say something about Bill, because I would not be able to sleep tonight had I not. And there was a story of a gentleman, an older gentleman, a very old gentleman, who went to heaven. And he was met at the gates by St. Peter. And St. Peter refused to let him in because he had nothing to say about the good works that he had done. And St. Peter asked him, "You mean you have not helped anyone? You have not lifted anyone? You have not encouraged anyone?" And Peter gave him a list of all kind of opportunities to present a yes, I did that, but it never got around to that. And St. Peter said, "Well, you better think very hard. Come up with something that you have done that will justify your coming into the gates of heaven." He thought. And he thought. He says, oh yes, there is something. There was a little old lady at the grocery store, and a big man pushed her buggy out of the way and knocked her down. And I rushed over and helped her up. And I stood up to this big man and said, you better never, ever do that again. St. Peter said, yes, that's good. That's what I'm talking about. Now, when did you do that? He said, oh, about 10 minutes ago. My point is this, that Bill didn't wait until his last years to do good. He started 50 years ago or more. And I'm so blessed to have been a part of, and still a part of, this group called the Singing Angels. It's one of my badge of honors in my life. I remember when Bill was starting the Singing Angels, and he was on the search for a trainer, a director for the group. And evidently, he went to the Board of Education, and the Board of Education led him to the music supervisor. And he inquired as to where he could find a director for the Singing Angels, someone that would do justice to what his vision in his heart was. Somehow, he received the name of Luther Blackwell, who was a music teacher at Alexander Hamilton High School on Cleveland's east side, and he called me and sat me down and said, would you? I thought I was very honored to have been asked, and so I arranged my schedule so that I could meet with the Singing Angels every Saturday. And had years of great pleasure, and because of Bill Boehm, my life has been more enriched. I have met some of the finest people that I could ever meet. And it's all because of William C. Boehm. The last time I was in concert with him, I believe, Cleveland Music Hall or somewhere, I was there in attendance, and I led my iconic song, Ain't That Good News. And Bill came up to me and said, Luther, what happened to your hair? Thank you, Bill, for that compliment. I appreciate it. But I enjoyed the likes of and the company of the association with Bill Boehm. I'm going to close. I believe he does have a home in that kingdom. And I believe that is good news. Thank you.
If you were at our recent spring benefit concert, you heard this next selection. If you were not, listen closely to the lyrics. Imagine a world without Bill Boehm. Imagine a world where there was no music. And imagine the joy, you don't have to imagine. And think about the joy that we all have discovered because of what he did and because of what he dreamed. We sing for you the awakening. In preparation for this day, we have received a number of letters and proclamations from civic officials, and we are thrilled to ask 3 of our alumni, not just from civic officials, you'll hear some of them are from Angels people too. We're thrilled to have 3 of our alumni to come up on stage to read from those for you right now. This is Sue St. John and Lisa Wright and Gerard Pasala.
Hello, what a wonderful, wonderful day it is today to celebrate the life of Mr. Boehm. Just wonderful. It's wonderful to see everybody here. This first one is a letter from the Rotary Club of Cleveland. Mr. Boehm was a past president of the Rotary Club of Cleveland. He was greatly treasured and admired by all of his fellow Rotarians. This part won't surprise you. Mr. Boehm led our singers' table every Thursday for many years. The individuals from the singers' table today contributed money to the Singing Angels in Mr. Boehm's memory. Thank you for continuing Bill's legacy, as he was a tremendous man. That's from the Rotary Club of Cleveland. Thank you to them. This one is from Tom Neal. He was a barbershop conductor at the very beginning of our years, in case some people don't know. This is a letter from him. Bill Boehm was really one of a kind. He was a visionary and a man of incredible determination. When the Angels became reality in 1964, he suggested on many occasions that I consider directing this newly formed children's chorus. He worked on me relentlessly to teach the kids barbershop. I began singing barbershop at age 12 and learned early on that young people did not take easily to the complicated harmonies found in barbershop.
Would you say the harmonies are pretty complicated? But you guys do them well. Phenomenal.
Bill told me otherwise, but I didn't buy it. These were young kids. Finally, in 1964, My quartet called the Village Idiots was performing at the Menor Yacht Club one Saturday night, and Bill was the master of ceremonies. No surprises there. After the show, Bill and I closed up the club. He persisted again in his idea of the kids singing barbershop. I continued to resist, but said I would think about it. 5 hours later, my phone rang. It was Bill. He practically ordered me to show up at 8:30 a.m. in the YWCA building in downtown Cleveland, 30 miles away from where I was. He escorted me into a room where I got a first look at the singing angels. I thought, these are really young kids. They sat straight in their chairs, looking bright and bushy-tailed, with beautiful smiles. You guys are always good with the beautiful smiles. Always, always, always. And youthful faces. They really got to me. I had no music with me, but I taught all my choruses by singing their parts to them, and then putting together in 4-part harmony. I rearranged them by tenor, lead, baritone, and bass, all new to them. 60 minutes later, it ended with a song we could actually sing all the way through without stopping. I was astounded. I looked over at Bill. He had a very smug, "I told you so" look on his face. He announced that I was to return next week, same place, same time, and the Singing Angels Barbershop segment was born. It was a prime example of creating what Bill carried around in his head, in his mind, in his dreams. Bill and I became fast friends, and the rest was history. He made me do something I never thought I could. There are many thousands of those wonderful kids that learned the same lesson from great Bill Boehm, singing songs and things that they never thought they could. Bill was truly a Cleveland legend. He knew many of the rich and famous in Cleveland and did not hesitate to enlist their support for his famous angels, truly his greatest creation. We made it all the way to the Bob Hope, NBC Christmas Show, Kraft Music Hall with Wayne Newton, the White House, national political conventions, NFL football games, MLB baseball games, and thousands of other concerts and shows, and zillions of countries that you've all been able to participate in. That's amazing. Bill is gone now, but his memory lingers on. He will not be forgotten in Cleveland. There will be many tears shed by the dedicated singing angels and their families. He changed their lives in the best of ways. Rest in peace, William Boehm. Love, Tom Neal.
Proclamation from the office of Mayor Frank Jackson. Whereas, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Cleveland, it is a privilege to offer this proclamation in honor and loving memory of the service of William C. Boehm to the Cleveland community and the Singing Angels. And whereas, Mr. Boehm founded the Singing Angels in 1964 to provide opportunities in the performing arts to the youth of Greater Cleveland. He started the group in the beginning of a turbulent racial period, both locally and nationally, yet the Angels gathered children from every race, color, creed, income level, neighborhood, religion, and social background to make music and make friends. It is still serving the same purpose 53 years later. And whereas, Mr. Boehm leaves behind a legacy of service and commitment to making Cleveland a stronger city filled with greater advantages for all children. He provides countless hours of mentorship to the students who participated in the group and will be remembered fondly at the Celebration of Life ceremony on July 9, 2017. And whereas, under the leadership of the late Mr. Boehm, the Singing Angels have been ambassadors of Cleveland by performing in 35 countries and holding 5 command performances at the White House. The alumni of the Singing Angels serve as leaders in our community based on the culture of service instilled in them during their youth. And whereas, the city of Cleveland joins the Singing Angels family in commemorating life and service. Of William C. Boehm. I promised I would not cry, so I apologize. And extending our sincere condolences to his family, friends, and all those whose lives he impacted through the Singing Angels. Now therefore, I, Frank G. Jackson, the 56th Mayor of the City of Cleveland, do hereby offer this proclamation honoring William C. Boehm. I invite all Clevelanders to join in remembering Mr. Boehm and the service and opportunity he provided to the young people of Cleveland. Mayor Frank G. Jackson. I also have a letter here from the United States Senator Rob Portman. I was saddened to hear of the passing of the Singing Angels founding director William C. Boehm. I am pleased that his memory is being honored with the Celebration of Life ceremony. The community will be reminded of the life and legacy of Mr. Boehm and will have the opportunity to reflect on his love of music as well as his many contributions to the lives of Ohioans, particularly young people. William Boehm's work and his vision will continue to make a difference and benefit our community for many years to come. I appreciate all he did for Northeast Ohio and for his service for our country during World War II. Please accept my condolences and know that the Singing Angels community and Mr. Boehm's family and friends are in Jane's and my thoughts and prayers.
And I have two tributes from our state's capital. First is a proclamation from the Ohio Senate. A resolution by Senators Williams, Yuko, Skindell, Thomas, Gardner, Euchre, Schiavone, LaRose, Hottinger, Dolan, and Sykes. In memory of William Boehm Sr. Whereas the members of the Senate of the 132nd General Assembly of Ohio extend heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of William Boehm Sr. in their bereavement, and whereas Bill Boehm was revolutionary and he demonstrated a deep desire to bring not only more beauty to our society, but also to improve it for all individuals. The founder of the adored and renowned Singing Angels, Bill Boehm built a chorus of kids from all backgrounds and united them with their love of music. Under his leadership, the group grew from 80 to 300 members and performed around the world for luminaries ranging from presidents and popes to famous celebrities. He was dedicated, driven, and widely beloved. And whereas a man of exceptional concern and insight, Bill Boehm served his community and state in numerous ways. He was a U.S. Army captain during World War II, and his untiring efforts to better the world around him earned him many richly deserved accolades, such as the Ohio State Governor's Award, the Cleveland Arts Martha Joseph Prize Award, and induction to the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. And whereas Bill Boehm always strived to make the world a better place, and while the void created by his death may seem unfillable, it is certain that the legacy of love and compassion he leaves behind will stand as a testament to his personal character. He will be fondly remembered and deeply missed by all those who knew him. Therefore, let it be resolved that we, the members of the Senate of the 132nd General Assembly of Ohio, in adopting this resolution, pay tribute to the memory of a truly kind and generous man, William Boehm Sr. And the last is a letter of recognition from Ohio Governor John Kasich and Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor. On behalf of the state of Ohio, we are honored to recognize William Bill Boehm for the difference he made in his community and throughout our state. Founded in 1964, the Singing Angels grew from 80 members to hundreds, and after spending more than 2 decades leading the Singing Angels around the state, nation, and world, Bill retired as its director, but he never stopped being an angel. The love, respect, and admiration of his friends, the community, and fellow angels have for him is truly a testament to the legacy of kindness and compassion that he has left behind, and we extend our condolences to all those who had the honor to have known him. We pray that you might find comfort in God during this time of heartbreak and join Bill's friends and family in paying tribute to a remarkable and inspiring individual. Thank you.
If you've been at many concerts over the last number of years, you've heard me talk about a special relationship that the Singing Angels had with a very famous man here in Cleveland and one of our former representatives. And he is here today to give a few words right now. Please welcome Dennis Kucinich.
afternoon, and thank you so much, Charles. And my wife and I are pleased to be here to join with you in the celebration of the life of Bill Boehm. Think of the contribution that he made in helping every young person he came into contact with find the music in your life. To the singing angels who are here. He did this for generations of young people. He helped find the music. All of you feel the music, right? And he knew it was in every young person. So he helped find the music, helped bring it out, and helped young people find their voice. And more than that, find the beauty of their voice. What greater gift could an individual give to our young people? And to bring them together in a chorus where they can sing of the beauty of life, where they can evoke the magic of life. So thank you, Bill, for everything that you did. Thanks to the singing angels for continuing this beautiful tradition of finding the music. One of my most fond memories during the time that I was mayor of Cleveland years ago, Bill Boehm brought the singing angels to City Hall. And they sang a few songs that we're famous for, most notably the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which all of you know. So for a moment, let's transport ourselves inside the massive and beautiful rotunda of Cleveland City Hall, where the singing angels are arranged on a series of stands. And they begin to sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Now, I'm not sure that I have the words exactly right, but at the moment when they began with the stanza that says, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. And at that moment, whatever cloud there was over Cleveland broke, and a shaft of brilliant sunlight shone through the skylight of Cleveland City Hall and illuminated the entire rotunda. It was a profoundly spiritual moment. It showed not just the singing angels basically connecting with that celestial glory, but also it showed the magic of Bill, who was present always with this twinkle in his eye and a song in his heart. And to borrow a little bit further from the Battle Hymn of the Republic, where they speak of his truth is marching on, when we speak of Bill Boehm, we can remember that his music is marching and singing on. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We now need the alumni to come up on stage. Rafaela Rokakis will be conducting us in the next few pieces. And if the alumni could make their way up onto the stage and join the performing chorus. You have to go back that way and go behind the white wall next to the red curtains. There's no entrance down here at the front.
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm coming across, great. I never had a problem being heard, though, did I? Absolutely beautiful. Somebody said something else, I'm sure it was great. On behalf of the Angel Alumni Organization, I wanted to mention that although our organization, the Angel Alumni Organization, has been officially in existence for just a few years, one of our fondest memories will be of Mr. Boehm when we saw him for the last time in December 2014. We sang for him at Harbor Court in Rocky River. Mr. Boehm was still full of energy and still promoting the Singing Angels with the same enthusiasm he had when I first joined the group in Mr. Boehm never forgot his vision of bringing children together of all backgrounds to sing good music. I look around this auditorium today and I see nothing but beautiful children and adults who all believe in the same vision. Mr. Boehm was our teacher, our leader, our friend, our father figure. We must never forget what he taught all of us and how he brought us all together for over 50 years. And here we are all together again today because of him. I think Mr. Boehm is with us this afternoon, and glad to know his dream of bringing people together to simply sing music will live on as long as we continue singing. Here's my plug again. I need y'all at rehearsal this September. The alumni I'm speaking to. They all shake their heads, yes, yes. I'm going to count on you, I need phone numbers. So, Mr. Boehm, you are now with the angels forever, just as you will forever be in our hearts. Shakespeare said it well. Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels, sing thee to thy rest.
We'd like to invite now for a prayer and reflection and the song Cantor Kathy Wolf Seba.
In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember him. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember him. In the blowing of the wind, the opening of the buds, and the rebirth of spring, we will remember him. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we will remember him. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember him. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember him. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember him. And when we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember him. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember him. So long as we live, he too will live, for he is now a part of us as we remember him. In remembering Mr. Boehm today, I am reminded of the words of the beloved Hungarian-Israeli poet Hannah Senesh, who wrote the following Hebrew verses. Yesh kochavim shel ha'magia arza rak ha'asher hem atzmam avdu be'enam, which means that there are stars up above we see in the night sky whose light shines on us, yet these stars have diminished. And so it is with people who we loved, that even though they are gone from this earth, their light keeps shining upon us. And for us, they light the way. Like those stars that the poet speaks of, we still feel the presence of our loved ones, even when they've departed from this earth. And for those individuals who were such an important and bright light in our lives, well, this is all the more true. Mr. Boehm was a bright light in our lives. And while he's no longer with us here, his light still shines upon us. In thinking about my 7.5 years in the Singing Angels, my best times, my fondest times, some of my most important life lessons, I began to wonder, how do I thank someone who was so deeply responsible for shaping my life, for shaping all of our lives? The first time I ever saw him in action, I knew that Mr. Boehm was a star, a superstar. To me, he seemed larger than life, an entertainer, a music man, an entrepreneur, a man who had this tremendous voice, a voice that I would describe as the intersection of Broadway and operetta. I remember the drive every Saturday to our rehearsals at the fire station on Lakeside, and Mr. Boehm carefully listening to every note, encouraging us to smile and to sell that song, whatever song it was we were singing. When we were a bit rambunctious, he'd lovingly call us knuckleheads. And if his patience was growing thin with some of our shenanigans, we were firmly instructed to quit futzing around. I don't know, did he say that to the kids in the later decades? Children of the 90s? No, really. Okay. Well, I'm from the era of the 70s, and I do know when Ray started, and I won't tell you. I also remember performances where he would not only conduct us, but he would MC the performances. He was always the showman, and Mr. Boehm would sometimes, he'd even tell a joke to the audience. Do you remember that, when he would break into a joke? And I recall this one joke, I know a lot of you from that era will recall. He would oftentimes find out if somebody in the audience might be celebrating an anniversary, and he would tell a story about this couple who was celebrating a 60th wedding anniversary, and they were being interviewed by the local television station, and Mr. Boehm would describe the interviewer asking a couple if in their 60 years of marriage if they ever considered divorce. And he'd say that the couple would gaze at each other sweetly. They'd gaze into each other's eyes, and then turning back to the journalist, they would say together, divorce, never. Murder, yes. Now, when I was 11 or 12, I couldn't understand why the audience would roar with laughter. Of course, we, the angels, we always had to feign laughter, remember? It was very funny. I didn't know why it was funny, but now that I'm married 33 years, I get the joke. It took me a long time, but Mr. Boehm, thank you, I get the joke. From those of us from the 70s era, there, and perhaps even earlier, we may forever wonder who convinced Mr. Boehm that white pleated skirts with white tennis shoes and pantyhose were a good idea. And while it may not have been the greatest fashion statement, I do remember feeling so special, as I'm sure all of you did, when we donned that uniform. I remember singing a duet with him when I was 15 or 16, the classic, All the Things You Are. His voice was so rich and so beautiful, and every time I hear that song now, I'm transported back to being on stage, harmonizing with him, and it's a really sweet memory for me. Depending on which decade you were a part of, all of us here, especially the young stuff back there, all of us here, we performed for presidents and popes in palaces and stadiums across the U.S., of course, all over the world. And in 1974, the Angels were invited to perform in Romania. And this 3-week concert tour was, at the time, absolutely groundbreaking. Mr. Boehm would lead this concert tour for 8 performers as ambassadors in song behind the Iron Curtain. And if you're too young to know what that meant, you just look it up. It'll explain it for you. I wasn't going on this trip. You see, my parents during this time were experiencing some very severe financial hardships. I was a little heartbroken, maybe a lot, but I wasn't going. And a few weeks before the group was to depart, my parents sat down with me in the dining room and they told me that Mr. Boehm had called them earlier in the day. He had made a phone call to one of the Singing Angel board members, and he asked this board member if he would consider sponsoring me on the trip. And this person said yes. In a multitude of ways, Mr. Boehm had all of our backs. I'd need at least 30 minutes to list all the venues across our nation, as well as the countries that we angels have visited, all the adventures that Mr. Boehm dreamt up and then made happen. But on a very personal note, there's one special place I have to mention, and that was the 1978 concert tour through Israel. For me, my first trip to the Holy Land, this was a trip that changed my life forever. How many of you were on the Israel trip? It was amazing. And while he instilled in us a love for all kinds of music and an understanding of what teamwork means, and that hard work and dedication will always provide excellent results, I really have to wonder if Mr. Boehm realized that everything he taught us, I wonder if he knew that it was actually really preparing us for life. So whether you on this stage are now a teacher or an attorney or in the business world or serving your community or in sales or healing the sick or a journalist or a clergy person or volunteering for the cause of your choice or even a musician, whatever you are doing in your daily life, if you're ever called to stand in front of an audience or your co-workers or any group of people, if you're ever called to stand confidently and address this group, well, we know that Mr. Boehm and the experiences that we gained in the Singing Angels taught us how to prepare and present ourselves. And our memories to him go far beyond the music and far beyond the performances, because we all came together from our towns and our suburbs, from our schools and our places of familiarity. I have to tell you, my elementary school, this was the early 70s in University Heights, my elementary school, a little public school, contained a population of students that was 90% white and 80% Jewish. And then I joined a choir of angels. And as a singing angel, we all became part of this extended family that was black and white and Asian and Hispanic and Christian and Jewish and Muslim and on and on and on. And when we graduated and went off to college, while those other freshmen may have been worrying if their new roommate might have a different religious view from ours, or their skin tone was darker or lighter, or perhaps they came from a social economic situation that was unlike the one that we were accustomed to, we angels did not have to worry or stress about those things because he, Mr. Boehm, led us to focus on what was united between us, and he taught us to respect, which made each of us unique. And so, Mr. Boehm, and I'd like to say we, are forever grateful to you and to your vision of lifting up our world through the language of music. As the poet states, Chaim, Chaim Shemarim La'adam et Haderech. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is gone. But the stars that light up the darkest nights, these are the lights that guide us trustfully as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember. Now I know you have it. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We remember. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ונען. יש אנשים שסביב זכרם כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו.
My singing angels, as I listen to the sweet, clean sound of your voices, I realize that no plea for peace is stronger than that which comes from your lips, the sound of you. Soon the world will be yours, to enjoy, to manage, and to prepare for your children. Soon you will be challenged with forces that will strive to attack your innocence, your idealism, your love of man, even your love of God. If you face these corrosive elements and hold them all for good judgment, with wholesome discipline and a gentle spirit, then you will have a chance to retain peace on earth. Oh, sing on, my angels, and keep the peace that the good Lord placed in your soul. This is your key to happiness. Let nothing of earth abuse you. My generation, who are present custodians of the world, have not done too well, and yet not too badly. With all its agony and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world, especially in our beloved America. Think positive. Be more concerned with what you are for, rather than what you are against. Sweeten your life with kindness. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and be yourself. And may your wish for peace on earth go winning through the atmosphere, for all the troubled and agitated to hear, and for all hopefully to heed.
Director of the Singing Angels. On behalf of the Singing Angels Board of Directors and staff, I would like to thank you all for attending today's service for Mr. Boehm. I think we can all agree we are who we are today because of Mr. Boehm. The Singing Angels has had a profound impact on my personal and professional life, and I'm honored to be one of the many alumni carrying on Mr. Boehm's legacy of the Singing Angels. We'd like to thank alumnus Father Ray Guillao and St. Ignatius High School for hosting us this afternoon. We also would like to recognize a few individuals who made today's service so special. Bishop Luther Blackwell, Jim Ballagher, Rafaela Rokakis, Kathy Wolf-Sebo, Sue St. John, Lisa Wright, Gerard Basala, all of the alumni who are here to sing with us, and we thank the public officials who sent proclamations and letters in memory of Mr. Boehm. I'd like to thank Daryl Witten for putting together the slideshow, audio recordings, and video for the service, and thank you to everyone who contributed photos. I'd like to thank the Angels Alumni Organization for putting together such a wonderful reception last night and candlelight ceremony for Mr. Boehm. And on behalf of their board president, Rafael Rokakis, I would like to thank their board of trustees, Sarah Sherrod, Rhonda Swain Fletcher, Michael Tate, Mildred Porter Duncan, Todd Schwartz, Betsy Sinadar, McCafferty, Ratano Rucker, Rita Schmiegel. And a special thank you to Anne-Marie Turpak for all of the efficient and detailed communications for the Alumni Chorus. And thank you to the Alumni Chorus members who show up faithfully for rehearsals and concerts to keep the music and legacy alive. We'd like to invite you to join us immediately following the service at a reception at Hansa Brewery, which is located just 2 blocks east of the Breen Center, and details are located at the bottom of the program. Thank you again for coming, and I'd like to invite Bishop Blackwell back up to the podium for the benediction.
May we stand as we give the benediction. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you, and may He be gracious unto you. May the Lord show you His favor, and may He give you His peace. In his wonderful name we pray. Amen.
ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony for today. If you can join us at the Hansa Brewery, just so that you know, it's just a couple blocks down, and it's owned by a Singing Angels alumnus by David Turk from the class of '86. So, angels, as you've all proved today, angels are everywhere. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.